What up, world? Peace, kings and queens.
Peace.
We are on the road, and as we often do, we're having some deep conversation. And we realized the response that the post that we did here recently called Love Is Not Enough, what that response is, and just continuing to elaborate on that. So we said we were going to do a series entitled Love Is Not Enough and just really break that down. So Chris and I were sitting here talking, and we were talking about just things that we've gone through in our relationship, and then what that really means when we say that love is not enough. Because the post talked about, or the meme specifically talked about, conversations that you should have before you get married and things that you should cover when you're married, as far as bills, credit, medical history, all of those things. But at the same time, if you come into a relationship just thinking that, oh, it's the warm and fuzzy and the love that I feel for this person is the only thing that's needed, then you're sadly mistaken, because there's a lot of real life that happens in relationships. And so we want to talk a little bit about what we mean when we say love is not enough.
Yeah. I think it goes back from childhood. You know, how people were raised affects them. And it's a big contributing factor as to who they'll become as adults. And sometimes people don't deal with those issues, so they grow into and they transfer into your relationship. So I think that's one of the things that couples need to sit down and come together on. How has your childhood affected you? What are some things that you need to heal from? And you both can, help each other heal. Because I think that's what relationships and partnership and true love is about, is to having a life partner to do and go through anything with. And it's not, like Teal said, always the warm and fuzzy. It's really about the real things in life. I hear a lot of people say, no marriage is perfect, and it's not. But it doesn't mean that you can't work through imperfections to have the perfect relationship, love, or marriage for you. So it's all about growing, healing, and becoming one with each other. That's the true purpose of marriage. And every marriage has a purpose too. Find out what your purpose is in your marriage.
I couldn't agree with Chris more. If you don't come into your relationship with a overstanding and an understanding that there is a level of healing that you need to provide within your relationship, because again, you're brought together with the dynamic of how you grew up or your upbringing to be able to balance each other. So for instance, Chris grew up in a very affectionate family. I did not. And so he has helped me be able to accept and appreciate affection, appreciate a family that comes together to do a lot of family things, family functions, family conversations, family vacations. That's not the family that I grew up in. So there's a lot of healing that I've received from him in our marriage and in our relationship that I never expected to receive, because I didn't think coming into the relationship that there were issues within me. But as we have grown together, I have clearly been able to see things within myself and things that came back up from my childhood that were deficiencies within myself that he was able to fulfill. So not only has he been my husband, he's been a brother, a father, a best friend. And so he's filled a lot of voids that came up that I didn't even realize were there. If he wasn't prepared or willing to be that healer for me, then where would our relationship be? And I feel like a lot of marriages go through those things where the mate is like, oh, I'm not his mama, or I'm not the daddy, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. But it's necessary, because maybe that woman didn't have the daddy-daughter relationship that she wanted, and so now she doesn't know how to respect her husband. Or maybe that man didn't have a warm and fuzzy, loving, affectionate relationship with his mother, and so he doesn't know how to be warm and affectionate with his wife. things.
Yeah. That's what marriage is really about. It's about coming together to heal, to get to a point to where you can grow and become one. And I think a lot of times people let the trials and tribulations of life and the obstacles of marriage break them up. And that's why the divorce rate is so high. But I think a lot of times in this day and age, sometimes people get married for the wrong reasons. People are unevenly yoked. So I think those things will wither away. But when it's built on friendship and love and healing and growing and coming together to build something together, I think that relationship and love will stand the test of time. So I want to say our marriage is not perfect, but we've healed and worked through and come together to build and grow together in such a way that we've overcome a lot of the problems. So we don't have a lot of the problems that we see most relationships have. It doesn't mean that our marriage is perfect. It just means that we love each other enough to work through those things. And I wish people would stop saying that. It's kind of like a justification to stay in a bad place, instead of holding each other accountable to raise your vibration to be in a better place. And I just, beyond marriage, I think us as black people, we have to get back to that, because if you say something to somebody now, you're a hater, when you could truly just be speaking from a place of truth and love
And experience.
and vulnerability, and transparency, because most people, instead of come to talk to you about it, they would talk about you. So appreciate somebody that is real. You got to know the difference between somebody that loves you and is telling you the truth versus somebody that is just hating on you and is jealous of you. So just wanted to say that. I just felt that needed to be said.
So like I said, this is one of many segments that we're going to be doing on Love Is Not Enough. This is all we got for this particular segment. We will be back to you in the future with more information, more details, more wisdom, and more experience on Beyond Marriage. Until next time, peace.